Captaincy dilemma and why Wolves' Ait Nouri should be on your wish list. Welcome to the Gianni YouTube show. This is your Game Week 32 preview. The game weeks are coming thick and fast, and hopefully so are the FPL points. I hope you had a good midweek round of fixtures. We're going to look forward to my team. We're going to talk captaincy. It's a big one this week. But first, let's just touch on how I got on midweek. Really happy with a green arrow. Happy with my rank. Final stretch of the season. Thank you, Phil Foden, for your 20 points. Last time he got 20, I benched him. So this worked out pretty well. And look, players like Zabani and Neto, double Bournemouth clean sheet. That was in my favour as well. So a good game week. But as always, looking forward now. So first discussion point of the day, we need to speak about Ait Nouri of Wolves. For a few reasons, right? First, let's just go through the fact that Wolves are a good team and they have 4 of their next 5 games at home. Let's also talk about the fact that the fixtures are good, and let's also talk about the fact that they have a double game week in 34, right? So it's West Ham, Forest, Arsenal and Bournemouth in a double game week, and then Luton in 35. Now, 35 is a really interesting one because many will think they'll wildcard in 35 and dead end from 34. But when you look at your wildcard team in 35, knowing you're going to stack up on Chelsea and Spurs players, if they double in 36 and 37, which is likely, they don't have good entry points in 35. So if, for example, you want 6 Chelsea and Spurs players, maybe you don't wildcard in 35 and you wildcard in 36. Now, if that's the case, you need players that also look good in 35. And Ait Nouri has Luton at home in 35. Yeah, so another reason why I like Ait Nouri, but look, this is the main reason. Shall we look at the average position map versus Burnley? Now, he did get some points versus Burnley. He could have had more. He got a goal. He could have had an assist and even another goal. But he was the 3rd most advanced man on the pitch. Now, this is because Wolves have got injuries all over. Neto is out long term. Hwang is out for a couple of weeks. Cunha's still not back up and running, ready to start, although we could see that this weekend. And with that, they're lacking attacking threats. They need experienced players, despite being still a kid. They need players like Ait Nouri who they can trust in attack, who can get up the field and cause a little bit of a goal threat. So he played as a left winger, but was inverted. So we can see he was fairly central, but the 3rd most advanced. So it was a 4-4-1-1, right? And Ait Nouri, number 3 here, we like the average position map very much. What we like about it most, though, is the fact he's getting touches in the opposition box. Every game now, he's having shots. So against Villa the week before, he clocked a 0.69 expected goal involvement. Against Burnley, 0.38 XGI. So in 2 games, he's had an expected goal involvement of over 1. Now, there's a lot of strikers in the league that don't put up those numbers. It's looking good for Ait Nouri, and he is, if I make a transfer this week, he's likely to be my transfer in. So look, let's see my team. Before we do, if you fancy hitting that like button, but please do consider subscribing to the channel as well. I would massively love to see some new faces subscribing as we approach the run-in of the season. Also drop a comment and I'll get back to you as well. Right, my team. Shall we have a look at it? At the moment, before a transfer, we've got Neto, we've got Zabani, double Bournemouth defence against Luton away. Maybe that stays. Maybe I just play one of them. We've got Gabriel and Bradley. I like these guys despite the opposition. Salah, Foden, Son, Palmer and Saka does feel like the dream scenario in midfield. Fingers crossed Saka is good to go. I think he will be. And then it's Haaland, Solanke up front. I've got Dubravka on the bench who goes to Fulham. You could argue maybe play him, but I like Fulham at home. They always seem to score. So it will very likely be Neto in goal for me. The other big dilemma, though, is do I go Zabani or do I make a defensive transfer this week? For example, I could sell Bell to Ait Nouri. I've got money in the bank. I think I'm on 0.6 in the bank. Just checking that as we speak. Sorry, 1.6 in the bank. So look, with 1.6 in the bank, I've got more than enough to go Bell to Ait Nouri. And if I do that, I'll drop Zabani down to the bench and start Ait Nouri. Remember, Ait Nouri playing in a front 3. Ait Nouri, 4 of the next 5 at home, and he doubles in 34. There's a lot to like, as we've already just discussed. So look, that's where I'm at. If I do that, I can then roll my transfer in 33. And then in game week 34, I can consider what I do going into the double game week. I'm buying an extra double game weeker this week in Ait Nouri, but by 34, I might be like, look, it's 1 week. I'm going to sell Son, or because he doesn't play. I'm going to sell Foden or Haaland because he's got a single game week, whatever, and then I bring them back on wildcard. That's an option for me. So let's see where I land. But having 2 free transfers for game week 34, I think would be really nice. There is, however, one player that is constantly at the back of my mind, not just this week, but always in FPL. You guys know. And he's not in my team at the moment, and he's becoming pretty popular, and the fixtures are there for him. He also has a double game week, and I know in 34 I'll own him, and that is Darwin Nunez. If I'm going to own Darwin in 34, is there a way I can move to him before that? And I don't think there is. I think my plan move in 34 is Haaland out to Darwin. That then gives me enough money if I want to go Bradley up to Trent, for example. Can I get Darwin before that? Because the fixtures are massively there for him, right? I look at that Crystal Palace fixture. I like it. I do slightly worry about rotation with Atlanta coming up. And Atalanta are a good team, a really good team. And I think Spurs will go full strength. Liverpool will go full strength. Can I sacrifice a Haaland or a Solanke now for Darwin is the question. And I don't think I want to do that. I like Solanke's fixtures. I like Haaland fixtures. I know I'm going to get Darwin anyway in 34, and you can't have them all. And there's many this week that are really frustrated that they had to bend or sell a Foden, for example. If you did that, you probably sold him so you can get to a Darwin, or so you can make sure you've got a Son and Saka in place, or you can get to an Isak. And with that in mind, you can't have them all. All the players I've just mentioned, it's impossible to get them all in, especially if you've got Salah and Haaland combinations, which most have. So look, something always has to give, and don't be too disheartened. Yes, Foden went and got 20 points, but your Darwin can go and do the same, or your Isak can go do the same. So look, that's where we land this week. Let me know if you like my team. Is there any of those attackers that are on the chopping block? Unless I get Darwin, no, not really. Like, I like them all. It's just the defence. Zabani and Neto got away with it this week. Both got clean sheets, both got bonus points. I don't really want to be starting double Bournemouth defence every week moving forward. But sure, Zabani can stay for the double in 34. And by getting Ait Nouri, a bit like why I bought Bradley, this is a guy that will just attack at will. We love that average position map very, very much. When Hwang is back in the team, we could see him back at left back. And when we do, he's still a good option. He still attacks at will. So look, let's have a look at my... shall we have a look at my FPL Challenge team? But before we do, we have to talk captaincy. It's a big one this week. It's a proper captaincy dilemma. I'm not sure I can remember a game week this season where there's been 5 players that I would happily captain each and every one of them. Genuinely, 5. You could argue there's even more, right? I'm going to give you my top 5. I don't want to confuse the matter any further. But look, let's have a look at them. And thank you, by the way, for hitting that like button and for subscribing. Also, you can be a channel member. I've got my phone on me. I've got a WhatsApp group in the channel members if you fancy joining it, and loads of extra material too. So check out members by clicking the word join under screen. But look, this is the data I wanted to show you from Fantasy Football Scout. I was in the members area this morning going, I need some data to back up where I want to put the armband. So I thought I'll go my top 5 candidates, and I'll have a look at the expected goal involvement of those 5 all season long. Not the last 2, the last 4, the last 6. Just go all season and see how they're performing. Now, XGI per 90. This does include penalties, of which 4 of the 5 are penalty takers, right? So we have Foden, Son, Palmer, Haaland and Salah. All legit options. Now, Foden and Haaland, we'll talk about the opposition in a minute, right? First, let's just do XGI. So Salah is top of the charts. He's got an expected goal involvement this season of over 1.06. Haaland just behind that. And then Palmer at 0.8, Son at 0.64, Foden at 0.56. Now, we have to bear in mind, players like Haaland don't get a clean sheet point, and they don't get an extra goal point for a goal. The others are all midfielders. So when they score, you get a bigger boost. We also have to bear in mind recent form, of which you could argue Haaland's a little bit off the boil, and the likes of Salah and Palmer and Foden are absolutely flying. Son's a little bit meh, we're not sure. We also have to think with players like Son, is Richarlison going to play, and will Son move out to the left? And does that weaken his appeal? So the data here suggests Salah and Haaland, right? Arguably, you could consider Palmer too. But when we look at the opposition, maybe that changes things a bit. So I wanted to look at the opposition expected goals conceded. But rather than look season long, we'll look season long, but at home or away, depending on where they play this week. So, for example, Salah goes to Man United. So let's see what Man United look like when they play at home. They are the 12th best team or the 8th worst team in the Premier League at home for expected goals conceded. We like that for Salah. We like that very much. Of late, Man United have been even worse if we just take recent form. Haaland and Foden, the one thing that puts me off just a tad, and it is just a tad because City can ruin anyone, it's the fact that Crystal Palace have the 4th best home record for XGC. They're good at home, Crystal Palace, really good at home. And I think that puts me off Haaland and Foden this week. Palmer goes to Sheffield United, who are the 20th best. They are the worst at home. They're the worst defensive team in the league at home by expected goals conceded. So I like Palmer very much, right? Son plays Forest, who, under Nuno especially, have been better. They're 10th best when they go away, Forest. And Foden, as just like Haaland, he's playing Crystal Palace, of course, 4th best. So when I look at this, I go, I think it's between Salah and Palmer. But maybe Haaland because he's Haaland. So I'm not sure where I land. It will be one of those three. It'll be Salah, Haaland or Palmer. At the moment, I've got the armband on Salah, and I would say I'm likely to go in that direction. So Salah is my captain at the moment. I'd say I'm probably 60% likely. And then I'm also looking at Haaland maybe at 20%, Palmer at 20%. It's between those three. I think I'm going to... Do you know what? I went into the game week when you set your bus team up on the Tuesday. I had Son as captain, and then I watched Spurs play, and I just went, because they played badly, not only does that knock my confidence with giving Son the armband, but I thought Forest played well, so it's that combination of Forest playing well, Spurs playing badly, but because they played badly, will Ange Postecoglou mix it up? I was a big believer in the fact Richarlison would be benched on Tuesday. I said that, I think, on this channel, because they looked good the week before. But because they didn't look good against West Ham, he might just go Postecoglou. No, Werner, you were poor. Son's going to go left, Richarlison number 9. He might mix things up. So with that again working against Son, whilst I think Son's a great pick this week, I don't think I've got the confidence to give him the armband. I'm more confident captaining a Man City or a Liverpool player because I know, or I think, I can say with confidence that they'll win the football match. Spurs, you just never know. You just never know. So look, that's where we're at with captaincy. Let me know where you're going with the armband. It's a proper split decision. I did actually do a Twitter poll this morning. And so far, people are heading towards Palmer. We can see over 40% are going Palmer. And the rest, Haaland, Foden, about 20%, Salah around 20%, and Son around 20%. But around 40 looking at Palmer, which is really, really interesting. As I said, Palmer is someone I'm considering and probably my vice-captain, and Salah at the moment my captain. Shall we have a look at my challenge team? Because a lot of these guys feature in the challenge team. I don't have Foden in there. But I do have Palmer, Son, Haaland and Salah. So 4 of my best 5 captaincy options. The only reason I don't have Foden is it's double points for Liverpool players and double points for United players. So I'm going with 5 Liverpool. Bradley, Salah, Luis Diaz and Darwin with Kelleher. And then I'm just going for 1 Man United at the moment. Maybe that's a bit harsh. Maybe I need more. But I've just got Garnacho in there. Double points. But if United defenders are conceding, they're going to get 4 points at best. But probably less. Maybe I need to go Bruno and find a way, or maybe a Højlund. But at the moment, I'm going big on Liverpool, small on Man United. I've got Ben White, I've got Ait Nouri, Palmer and Son. And then I've got a bench of Wood, Branthwaite and Baldock a dead spot with Pickford too. Now, there is the cheat code with putting injured players in and subbing them out. I've just gone simple this week. I'm not looking to do too many transfers mid-game week because I've got plans and I don't really want to be thinking about FPL Challenge, I think. Maybe I mix that up. But at the moment, that's where I'm landing. I like all these guys this game week. You may see Ait Nouri, of course, features. Will I transfer Ait Nouri in my team? Well, find out on Saturday's live stream. Also find out who I'm going to captain. I'll be streaming Saturday morning ahead of the deadline. It is worth noting that the deadline on Saturday, again, we're back to normality. It's the normal 11 a.m. UK time, but it does feature Man City in the early kickoff. And I'm sure there'll be team news for Man City versus Crystal Palace. So with that, if we hear a Foden or a Haaland benching or whatever, maybe that affects our captaincy and our transfer. So just bear that in mind with Man City being the early kickoff there. Teams like Liverpool, who we care about big time, they play Sunday, so don't expect leaks. So look, that's where we're at. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday morning for my team selection. See if I go Ait Nouri or if I just roll the transfer. See if I go Salah captain. I think I probably will. Thank you so much for supporting the channel as always, guys. Really appreciate you sharing it. Really appreciate your comments and, of course, hitting those buttons. I'll see you.